Okay, Janice, I am fixing to read a little bit and all of that, and I'll talk to you and Martha and Shannon and Delilah just a little bit, okay? So just, you know, give me some time. I've got some things to do. I'm fixing to clean house. Okay, bye-bye. Communicating with the ancestors. Let's see. Raven Gramasi. Let's see, where was that? Oh, I opened it right where I was, probably because I treat my books bad. Well, brightest regards, my friends, and welcome to my show. I'm Lady Leanna, and this, of course, is Witchcraft, Wicca, Eclectic Spirituality, where today I want to talk about a subject that is especially kindred with young adults and teenagers that are still living within the same household of their parents, or even adults that live in the same household as their parents, or maybe adults that have parents that are living in their house. You see, from the days long ago, the pagan, the witch, the wiccan, the shaman, the druid has fallen under the scrutiny of the Christian church, the watchful eye of those within Christianity that would like to judge, trial, and in the old days condemn them to death even. And a lot of times, as fate would have it, their own family would be the ones that are extending them over into the hands of the law, writing on them, telling on them, because of fear of their own God condemning them for being associated. Nonetheless, in today's society, we are still met with stumbling blocks. We're met with prejudice left and right, and in so many different ways. However, we as adults can make choices as to how much of it we'll put up with within our own home. Now, kids, on the other hand, or adults that may have no other choice but to stay with a family member, might not have such the possibility of choice themselves. And they may be inclined to hear conversations going on right under their very nose that would sound a bit like, well, Dad, what do you think I should do? Let her get into whatever she wants to? All kinds of trouble. Right now, the devil and Satan and getting into that stuff with all of these friends of hers. And next, robbing banks and doing drugs. Or doing drugs and then robbing banks. It's one level to the other. God damn it, Doris. Why don't you just let the young whippersnapper alone? After all, I mean, she's just going through a phase. Why do you always gotta side with her, pups? Why do you gotta do it? I mean, you know, just not saying anything means that you are condoning that what she's doing. And we go to church and they teach us better than that. Yeah, well, it won't be another month and she'll be going through a different phase. Just let the little tot go, you know? Mom, where is my pagan goods box? Where is my witchy trunk? Well, young lady, while you were at school, I went through and I gathered up all your witchy stuff, including that box of yours that holds it. And I burned it. And it's no more. It's gone. And you can say goodbye-bye to all of this witchy and Wicca and all of this stuff that is of the devil. I've always been told so, and I know it's true. I burned it, it's gone, and now you are not ever to bring that stuff into my house anymore. Do you understand? We may also have those that would tend to defend us likewise. And it's always good when we find somebody that, well, maybe not understand us, but would defend us as someone that should be allowed to grow within ourselves. Go through our phases, if you will, if that's what you want to call it. She's just going through a phase. But it is always good to find somebody on your side whenever you can be so inclined. However, you know, there is always those times when people want to throw up at you their belief, their Savior. Don't you know that Christ loves you? You see, it's no real difference from people that are gay, bisexual, or what have you, that live within their family home. People of all of these walks of life can tend to be discriminated against within their own home, and it's never a good feeling. It's never a fair deal. People should try their best to try to understand people and give them their freedom, even if they disagree with it. Because in the end, we are all striving for our own betterment. And if something truly could hurt us, then of course, naturally, because it is our own self-defense mechanism, we would run away from it. We would get away from it and not be a part of whatever it is. If it's dark or negative, generally we know what is right or wrong within our being. We know what is light, dark, or gray, what is positive, what is negative. And typically we would understand what we need to stay away from. We don't need that help, especially as an adult. But even as a teenager, our own self-preservation, be it that if you, our parent, was teaching us right, from the time we were a small child up till now, we would already have that instilled in us. The self-preservation mechanisms that would make us run away from the ones that are bad from us. It's still their I guess, parental defense mechanism to step in there and try to save their child from a burning like a fire and brimstone if they truly believe that that exists. So, what do we do in this particular case? You have any take on that?
Just let the little tot go.
Now, we also know that people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, or whatever might also go through several different situations that are very much like this. We do have to understand people and give them their independence to grow. So Pops indicated. But basically, everyone needs their own independence and growing room. So why do parents feel that they have to step in there and overly guide you away from allowing you to embark on such different pathways that they're not so familiar with? Well, we have to understand and respect their ideals as well, because, well, for one thing, they're old-fashioned valued, and it is their safety defense mechanisms over their child or over their loved one to want to preserve them and protect them from the dangers of the world, be it dark, negative, and black, or maybe dangerous. And in their minds, that's what this is. Likewise, it's also their preserving ideas that want to protect you from being condemned by what they predeem to be the Lord and Savior of us all. And so they're going to step in there and try to divert you away from things that could be dangerous, dark, negative, and get you cast into a lake of fire and brimstone, because that's in their nature to do, you know. So what can we do about such things? What can they do to make things more comfortable within that household? Well, Pops, do you have anything to weigh in on that?
This is all just a bunch of hooey. if you ask me.
And there you have it. As Pop said, you need to let the young whippersnapper alone. Let them grow, by whatever means. Even if he thinks that it is just a phase that a person is going to, at least it's within his heart that a person should be able to live in the way that they want to, by whatever means necessary and for whatever purpose is intended. Even if he thinks that it is that someone is going through a phase, somewhere deep inside Pop's mind, a person should be allowed to spread their legs. How about stretch their legs and walk on their own and get where they need to go by their own principles, grow in their own ways and by their own means. So you see, there are definitely dangerous areas that you can cross by trying to overly control your child, young adult, or even older adult within your own household. You should definitely give them room for independence and some responsibilities and lend respect for their way of thinking, so that basically when they do get old enough and have to live on their own, because you're not going to be there forever, they'll be able to think for themselves and not overthink, have a lack of faith in themselves to where they're too scared to move or change anything. Although I do lend respect to you, who might be on the opposite end of the spectrum and say, well, there is definitely borders and boundaries you shouldn't allow another person to cross, no matter who they are, within your household, because you do believe in what you do believe in. They believe in what they believe in, but you believe in what you do. So, how can we make it to where all people can live together? Well, you don't believe in what they believe in. If it is to do with either being gay, bisexual, lesbian, or trans, or whatever, then, or pagan, whether it's witch, wiccan, shaman, druid, etc., it doesn't go along with your way of thinking or your way of believing. Okay, so if you don't want to hear about it, draw that boundary and border. That you don't want to talk about it with them, if you want to shut down, and if you don't want to be open to listening to them, which I strongly disagree with. But, I mean, each to their own right, then lay out that border or boundary. I do encourage you to talk to the other people in your house that might have different beliefs than you, because you really do want to share your life with them, and that is who they are. So you will be highly restricting your relationship with that alternate party. You will be not ever knowing the joy of being at one with this person that you're supposed to have a very pleasant friendship with. So, be it that I am going to go to the extreme side of this and say you will not accept this, but they need to be in your house, then draw your borders and lines and say that you don't want whatever it is practiced within your household. But don't deny them your relationship. Don't turn your back on them. Don't cast them out. Because I have had friends that have hung themselves because their parents abandoned them, disowned them. I have had people go to so many different means that I don't want to talk about. It's sad. But get to know the other people in your house. Understand them. Love them, because that's what they need and that's what they were born for. That's what you were born for. That's why you're still dwelling under the same roof. Does it not make sense that you would want to be at one with them in all that they do, and want them to be at one with you in all that you do, to try to understand you. It is always better that people sit down and try to talk through their differences. But in the end, whenever it comes down to it, if nothing else, no other understanding can be reached, agree to disagree. Stay together, stay best friends, stay a loved one, stay a family member, and just agree to disagree and move on and talk about other things where you can meet on a common ground. And then within yourself, when you go into the privacy of your own self, or in your own room, or into your own head, then think about the other party, even if it's the person that refuses to understand you because you're the one that they view to be different. Then try to understand where they were raised from, what their principles are and where those come from, why they may feel the way that they do, and still love them likewise. Because in the end, a lot of this is derived from a lack of understanding, or for the most part being imposed on the teachings of their parents and their parents' parents, and passed on from parent to child on down up to now. So I hope that this really shines a positive light on you guys and will encourage you to talk to each other within your household, to try to understand each other and where the other comes from, and be a part of each other, whatever that might take. But also respect one another, be it you, the one who has a child or a family member that wants to feel the way they do about spiritual pathways or sexual orientation or whatever the case may be. Try to understand them. Or you be the alternate party that is said to be different, trying to understand and respect the other person that doesn't really want to understand you because of where they may have come from. So there's a lot that people need to gain by talking to one another. It's very important. Communication is everything. No matter who you are, be it that your spouses, significant others, parent and child, or roommates. Everybody needs to try to understand each other and just cherish relationship, no matter what you do, no matter how each of you feel. Just cherish what you've got by what it is, if nothing else. Take care of yourself and brightest blessings. Bye-bye.
And in their groups, they dance around naked under the moonlight. Can you believe that? Yeah, well, I'm just tired of hearing a bunch of female hootadoos doing whatever the tarnations they want to do, and it gets kind of old. All of these ruddy females standing around just talking about things like witchcraft and things that don't even exist. Hell, go get you a new broom. What do you mean all of this femme stuff? This has nothing to do with whether you're man or woman. What do you think that you're doing? You're getting off into all of that satanic crap